What's up, y'all? One Piece One Life here, and guys, okay, look, turns out I was wrong. I was very convinced that 1134 was going to be the last chapter of 2024. But you know Oda, he said, no. Okay, technically it wasn't him. Technically what happened is that the leaks came out a week early, and then there's gonna be a break next week for everybody who read the leaks. But normally this week was a break, and then the chapter comes out next weekend, the weekend of the 5th of January. But all that preamble aside, what that means is it actually doesn't matter whether you read it now or later. There's going to be a break either this week or next week, depending on when you read it. But just know 1135 is out, and we got to talk about it because some very crazy things are happening. The chapter itself was kind of mild, but there are points of it where I'm like, oh, interesting. Guys, as you can see, I am recording not in my usual space. I am on vacation, but you know what? Even though I'm traveling tomorrow morning, I'm doing this for you guys. So just remember that. Guys, if you can feel my suffering, please do me a favor. Like the video, subscribe to the channel for more One Piece content just like this every week, because even when we're on vacation, I'm not on vacation. And share it around with all your friends who love this series. You know what we always say, let's get it going. And make sure you subscribe to me and my boys over at CSY. We are almost at 3K, guys. It's getting insane. So we're starting off with the cover story, and we see that, you know how in the last one, it was Hold'em revealed to be the one kidnapping people and he kidnapped Tama? Yeah, well guess what? Tama said, oh, I'm a big girl now, and kicks him in the face. And all I can say is that the Beast Pirate stocks are at an all-time low if an 8-year-old girl can defeat gifters. I mean, it's not even like I expect anything amazing from Hold'em, but this is just embarrassing. Let's just move on. So we start off within the Elbaf library, the Owl Library, and we have Chopper and Bonnie reading a book saying that, whoa, these letters, they're so huge. So y'all remember how last chapter, when they got there, the book that was in Robin's hand immediately gigantified? So yeah, apparently the reason that happens, at least according to Saul, is that Bibelot, the owl that, represents the Owl Library, it has what's called the rare fruit, and not like rare in terms of like behind or rare in terms of something is rare, but to rare, the verb to rare as in to like help something like nurture or grow. And essentially it's a way around having another gigantification fruit. Obviously they can't call it another gigantification fruit because that's already what Sanwan Wolf has. But apparently this owl has that devil fruit, so anything that comes into its contact, or I guess for some reason only books, it can make it gigantic. And I wonder why it's only books, or whether Bibelot can choose what it wants to gigantify. I assume it can. Keep this owl in mind. It's going to be very important for discussion in a bit. And also keep in mind that Lilith finds it intriguing that even inorganic things can grow with his devil fruit. So then just wrapping up with Robin's group, you just have Saul asking Robin, are you happy you finally get to, be a part of this archaeological world again? And Robin's just like, yep, I'm so excited to hit the books. And even Chopper's just like, yeah, I'm so excited. There's also like some more medicine books that I haven't probably read that I'm intrigued in, just studying. So I think the good thing with this is that we're actually getting character writing for the Straw Hats as it relates to their dreams, and not just having them do like random side quests like they've been doing for the past few arcs. So then we're back at the school, and we see that Luffy is just like, push harder, while the giants are like on a swing. But of course they're the giant kids, they're kind of timid, so they're scared of how high up they're going with Luffy just, I guess, spurring them on. Cut to Nami, who beats Luffy and Usopp up, and it's just like, these are kids, can you stop freaking them out? Luffy's just like, I'm so sorry, but Usopp's like, I wasn't even with him, why am I getting attacked? So then one of the kids goes to Gerd and is just like, Miss Gerd, I was so scared, hugging her. Luffy's just like, yo, what's the deal? Why are you guys such wimps? And Sanji is the one who's actually like, Luffy, you don't understand. These kids were raised with kindness. You can't expect them to just be like warmongering machines. Which is very interesting that Sanji is the one who said that, considering his backstory. And then you just have a little comedic moment of the kid just looking back and like smirking at Sanji, almost like, haha, I'm in her boobs. Which is literally just a callback to Momo, because Sanji's like, is this even just universal kid behavior now? Every kid just wants to be in some? So then Luffy and Usopp are talking. Luffy's just like, Usopp, I'm not gonna lie to you, bro. I know that this was your dream and all, but this island is starting to be a lot of a letdown. And Usopp's like, yeah, I know what we were kind of thinking, but maybe peaceful isn't such a bad thing. Which is interesting coming from Usopp, considering that he was the one who was most pumped to come to Elbaf, because that's what, the Elbaf warriors always proclaim themselves to be, and he wanted to be a brave warrior kind of like them. So maybe what it means to be a warrior is the theme that's going to be contested in this arc. So then you have a giant sword coming down as somebody says, "There you are, Straw Hat," and it's revealed to be Coen, the kid that we saw in the bar. He swings to attack Luffy and is like, "You're wide open," but Luffy literally just stands there and blocks it, and the entire sword just kind of like crumples. Fair enough, it's a wooden sword, so it breaks, but still. Then Luffy jumps into the air and is about to hit the kid with a Gear 3rd elephant gun. Because then you have Usopp being like, "What the hell is wrong with you? That's a kid." And Luffy's like, "I didn't even touch him, bro. Why is everyone being such wimps here?" But Luffy's just like, "Man, I don't know who you are, kid, but I'm glad that you're around. I'm glad not everybody around here is spineless as hell." So you have Coen just gushing over the fact that Luffy's an emperor and how strong he is. He's like, "Whoa, you're really an emperor? Like, I really admire you because you're so strong. Even though everyone else around here is such wimps, like, I'm the only one who really be doing that for real." Like, the people even call Coen a resident delinquent, and now that Coen's meet Luffy, there's no longer any doubt in my mind that he's about to be the kid of the arc. Meaning the kid whose life is gonna change by meeting Luffy. And for that, I think that there's gonna be strong parallels to what Shanks taught Luffy when he was a kid, which is that not everything deserves to be, like, fought over. So you have Ripley coming over and being like, "Coen, what do I always tell you? Can you stop making a scene?" But that was a very good first strike. And then Coen says, "Oh hey, Mom, Mato-san made you your favorites." Which to me, I was like, whoa. Because I had always thought that Mato, who I guess is this barmaid that we see down in the bar that Shanks is attending, I always thought that that was Coen's mom. But nah, apparently Ripley is Coen's mom. And then we get to something quite interesting. Coen tells the Straw Hats that his father is actually a human who used to be a strong pirate who didn't fear anyone, even the other warriors of Elbaf. So then Ripley explains that her husband is much younger than she is, and for that reason, they decided to make their marriage kind of less formal, just because he's the only one who'd ever be really growing up. Now stop, because there's a lot of things to talk about in this scene. First things first is that we get a tie back to the whole "don't linger there for too long" thing, because we have mentions of how the husband is going to be the only one growing old. And it seems like my theory about people aging faster when they're on Elbaf if they're not a giant may be right. Now the thing that a lot of people and I myself was wondering is, how did this happen? You have a giant woman and a human man getting it on. But how? Now I don't want to say anything that's going to get me in trouble with YouTube, but I think there may be a way. It very clearly was the owl, guys. I made a short about it, but it was so obvious to me in this chapter that the owl gigantified whoever Ripley's dad was for a period of time. They got it on, had a child, whatever, and then was able to shrink back to his normal size. There's 3 very easy pieces of evidence to tie all of this together. Fact 1. The rare fruit is confirmed to be able to gigantify things. Fact 2. Things that were gigantified from him can also be reverted and shrunk back down. Because Saul says that books that were already like giant books cannot be shrunken down, but things that were made giant by his power can be shrunk back down. That's what it implies. Fact 3 is that it has to work on organic material and therefore living beings, because Lilith was shocked that it worked on even inorganic beings, implying that the base power should allow it to work on organic beings. So I think it's very simple. Whoever this was just gigantified by the owl. Whatever happened, and then he shrunk back. Maybe the person even still gigantifies themselves from time to time whenever they come by the library or whatever. But this leads us to the final thing that we actually need to talk about, which is who Coen's dad actually is. Because guys, I think it's Scopper time. I've been saying that I hope that that silhouette that we saw way back when the Straw Hats were first coming here was Scopper. But all signs point to it being Scopper now, and I think it's a genuine possibility. We know that he's a strong pirate, ex-pirate, so it means he used to be a pirate, but also has hair that kind of fits with the silhouette that we saw. I think it makes a lot of sense, because first of all, when else are we going to see Scopper Gaban in the story? That's the left arm of the Pirate King. He needs to be relevant, and this would be a great way to tie him into the narrative. On top of that, we've seen that small silhouetted figure twice now, which means that they're definitely going to be important. Guys, all I'm going to tell you now is that if it really is Scopper Gaban, I'm going to throw a party. So you have the rest of the Straw Hats finally going to the Owl Library, with Luffy even being like, damn, these are some big books. So you have Robin saying that she wants to talk to Saul for a bit longer so they can go ahead on to the feast and she'll meet up with them, while Chopper's also like, oh, I'm also gonna stay. And then we have just a small panel, but it really killed an agenda for certain fans. You have Lilith and Bonnie saying, oh yeah, I'm gonna go get my resident permit for Elbaf, which means that they're staying on the island. Guys, Bonnie is not joining the Straw Hat Pirates. The only reason that I find that relevant is because it can knock out another thing that we have on our bingo, which actually said Bonnie is going to stay on Elbaf. Then Frankie's like, ow, I also got some business here, Luffy, because see, turns out Elbaf is on an atom tree, and because the sun is made out of the atom tree, I want to see what's up. So it turns out apparently there's more than one treasure tree atom, and I mean, I didn't know that, but that's pretty interesting information to me. Luffy's like, you guys can all do whatever the hell you want, I'm going to eat because I'm hungry. But then Gerd has a gift for the Straw Hats, and before we go, the next page we see a really good spread of all the Straw Hats who didn't have Elbaf outfits before getting Elbaf outfits. Brooks is goofy as always, he looks like some guy from Furiosa. My Queen Robin with one pant leg short and the other one longer, and then it fits with her pre-time skip hair. Frankie's got a beard just like Dory, and I'm not gonna lie, his beard is significantly better than Usopp's. Jinbei has a cool dragon belt buckle, and then they plaited his hair kinda into two pigtails, which reminds me kind of his fit during Film Red. So then as the other Straw Hats go off to the feast, we cut to West Castle, which is near the Western Village. And it turns out this is where the two Gods Knights who just appeared from Mary Joa, this is where they landed at. So you have two big guards being like, yo, what business do you have here? Can we help you? Are you part of the Straw Hats? The girl Holy Knight is just like, we are looking for the one called Loki. So they're just laughing like, you really don't want to meet him. He has no redeeming qualities and he's not a good guy. She's just like, so are you going to tell me or are you not? And they're just like, I mean, I'm sorry, we can't tell you because it's a matter of national security. What if you help him escape? But like that would ever happen, ha ha ha. The female Holy Knight is just like, I see. And then does something. I'm not really sure what I'm looking at. The sound effect is like do 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 do, almost like something is firing off. So then one of the guards, his name is Bogey, we just see that there are bandages forming around, and I guess this person's power is able to control bandages. Maybe some sort of bandage no me? In any case, he said that it hurts, and I'm assuming it's because of the constriction of the bandage literally like breaking his bones. So the female Holy Knight is just like, this is what happens when you're too rude and prideful. Now, before, I wasn't really asking, but you know what? It seems like you won't understand me, so listen up. I'm ordering you to tell me where he is. I'm not gonna lie, I'm becoming very interested in this female Holy Knight. And whole time, keep in mind that it was a very smart move by Oda to not show us anything more of Shanks' twin. And then in the Western Village, the party's going on, and you have the Straw Hats meeting up with all the giants that they saved throughout their story. Dory and Broggy's like, when we were on Little Garden, you helped us out. Oimo and Kashi talk about how they helped free them from oppression of the world government. Haruden is like, you saved me during the Dressrosa incident, so at the end of the day, we can call you nothing but saviors and friends. Cheers. They also mention, and thank goodness they took down Kaido and Big Mom, those monsters. The fact that we keep ramping up that Kaido and Big Mom are being taken down in this arc specifically makes me think that one or both of them may be coming back. But anyways, we just have the big cheers moment, the party is on. We then get a little refresher about Stanson because it turns out Stanson was actually the giant who was at the auction house at Saboti during the first time that the Straw Hats went there. And then at the last scene of the chapter, you have Mountain Beard Ja Rule pulling up to the party, and he's even bigger than Dory and Broggy. They say he's the hero of the giants and the oldest giant in the world, being 408 years old. And then the final scene of the chapter is Luffy just being like, Gramps, there's a sword in your hat. And Gramps is just like, oh yeah, good thing my helmet saved me. And I see this, and because it's at the end of the chapter, I can't tell if like it's just supposed to be a one-off gag or maybe just a recurring gag of, oh yeah, my helmet, something something, or if there's actually a reason why the sword is in the helmet. But regardless, after the abysmal chapter that happened like last week, I think that this chapter was at least a step up from that, definitely. It wasn't anything crazy, but I would give this chapter a strong 6. I think it's a good 6. But that's gonna wrap up One Piece for the year 2024. You let me know what you think about this chapter, especially the whole God's Night section. Or honestly, the Ripley section too. I'm interested in that as well. Guys, I don't need to tell y'all what to do at this point, but I still will. Like the video, subscribe to the channel for more One Piece content just like this every week, and share it around with all your friends who love the series, or anime and manga in general. Or me. I hear that I'm quite pleasing. Well, that's gonna be all for me. I'll catch y'all in 2025, and always remember, One Piece, one life. I hope everyone had a very Merry Christmas, and as we're coming to the end of the year, Happy New Year.